Dave Tosch, Executive Director, Wenatchee Valley Senior Activity Center. Today I'm joined by Leah Delman, who is a coordinator locally with Catholic Charities and actually covers Chelan, Douglas, and Grant counties. And so you've got some programs, really interesting programs that are going to appeal to seniors, and we'd like to talk a bit about that. But let's talk about your roles as they are right now.
Okay. So currently I am the Volunteer Services Coordinator for Catholic Charities, and Volunteer Services helps low-income seniors and adults with disabilities remain in their homes by providing volunteers who are willing to help them with chores. So we help with things like transportation, yard work, housework, just really anything that's going to help them maintain their independence safely and with dignity, help them stay comfortable in their spaces. And anyone who volunteers with that program, they can be any age or income level. The people who receive those services are low-income seniors who are 50 and older or adults with disabilities. So we just do an intake with anyone who's interested in receiving our services. They can call over the phone and I'll talk with them and make sure they qualify for our program. And if they do, we can get a volunteer to help them with whatever needs they might have.
What would be that phone number they could call?
We have a few. You could call the Catholic Charities main line, which I don't have memorized, but my phone number is 509-293-8365, and that will go to my desk.
And if they were wanting to email?
They can email me. It's a long one. It's ldilman@catholiccharities.cw.org.
But it's probably best they just look it up on the website. That's all right there.
Yes,
right?
it is. That'd be perfect.
Okay.
Yeah.
So I know that you're working on a new program. I say it's new. It may not be new to you.
It is new, yeah.
But the Senior Companions program.
Yes. So this one I'm really excited about. So this program is very relational based, and one of the motivations is just reducing loneliness and helping people feel like they have some companionship and reducing the isolation that seniors can sometimes feel as they age. So anyone 55 and older who makes up to 200% of the federal poverty limit can be a senior companion volunteer. And the benefit of that program is that you actually get paid to volunteer. It's $3 an hour plus any mileage. And it doesn't count against anything like Social Security or disability, or if you receive SNAP benefits, it's not taxable income at all. So it's a way for seniors who maybe they're living on Social Security, but it would be nice for them to have a little extra income. They can earn income while volunteering. And then there's no income limit to have a senior companion volunteer come to your home. So anyone who's 55 and older and would like to have a senior companion come to their home would qualify to have a senior companion.
So it sounds like you're looking for volunteers.
I am, yes. Yep.
Talk to us a little bit about how you're going about that and what you're seeing.
Yeah. So like everything, it's been a little complicated with COVID. We've kind of started and then had to stop and go back, but we're ready now to start onboarding volunteers. And what that looks like is you give me a call, I send you an application. We do have to do a fingerprinted background check, and then there would be 20 hours of paid training. But we pay for your time to do the training. We pay for the background checks and all of any expenses you might incur as part of that time. And how we're going about recruiting volunteers is just things like this. We're doing the interagency phone calls, and Catholic Charities has been doing a big publicity blitz trying to get the word out there that this program is going to be starting in these areas.
And the training, is that done face-to-face in the same room, or is that virtual? How are you going about that?
Yeah, there's lots of different modes that we're considering. We want to do some face-to-face just because we think there's a lot of value to the type of trainings that we would want to offer face-to-face. So our vision for that is to get to the point where we can do a nice catered lunch, bring in groups of, say, 10 folks who are ready to start their training and have them go through that as a class together. Now, for people who might not be comfortable with that, we're also working on some virtual options, including like a DVD that has training videos, things that could just be read on the individual's own time in their own home. And all of that's going to depend on how comfortable the person is with technology and what they're able to access. But we're going to do our best to make those trainings as accessible as possible for the comfort level of the person.
So some of the things you've talked about, it sounds like aging and adult care might get a call or a request or something for a service like that. How does how do you work together with them?
Yeah, for the most part, the requests flow from aging and adult care towards me. They know sort of the parameters of my program, and so if they get a call from someone who maybe doesn't qualify for their services, but they think might qualify for mine, I usually give that person a call, the client a call, and discuss with them whether or not the program is a good fit for them. But we work closely together. We maintain a good relationship, just trying to fill in the gaps.
I was just going to say, filling in the gaps.
Yes, fill in the gaps in services based on people's situations and incomes and things like that.
So, you know, people that volunteer tend to get some kind of a personal benefit out of that.
Yeah.
And so how would you describe some of the benefits they might get out of volunteering for the senior companions?
Yeah. Well, there's the obvious, the financial benefit that can just kind of help with pocket money. You can do anywhere from 5 to 40 hours a week. And so some people treat it almost like a full-time job. And with that comes actually paid vacation and paid sick time that they calculate based on how many hours you generally volunteer. So that's a perk, but another perk is just connection with someone in the community, having somewhat the benefits of a schedule and almost a part-time job that's very flexible depending on how much time you want to spend doing it and what else you have going on in your life. But just the idea of you have somewhere to go that day, someone to go and visit, someone who needs the things that you have to offer, I think provides a lot of mental health benefits to people who maybe, you know, in their retirement, or if they're disabled, have found that they just have more time on their hands than maybe feels right for them or feels good to them.
Feel like they're being productive and helping someone in the community.
Yeah, exactly.
I think that's a big plus.
Yes.
Yeah. So you're with Catholic Charities, and I know that that's where a lot of the funding's coming from. Could you just describe a little bit about that organization? And do you have to be Catholic in order to take advantage of this?
Yeah, that's a great question. So our two programs receive funding from the state, so they're grant funded by the state. Now we umbrella under Catholic Charities. So for instance, I office there, and the headquarters for Catholic Charities in this area is in Yakima, so my supervisors are there. But again, we receive our funding from the state, and so we are able to and required to help anyone, doesn't matter your religious affiliation or anything like that. And Catholic Charities overall, a lot of their funding does come from the state. They do get funding from the Catholic Church as well, but as an entity that receives funding from the state, they help anyone from any background or religious faith. Lots of people who work at Catholic Charities aren't Catholic, and again, we would serve anyone, regardless of ethnicity, background, race, religion, anything like that.
So I know you work with a lot of various organizations in the community, aging and adult care, we mentioned that, but I also know that you work with AmeriCorps and some of their volunteers. So talk a little bit about that part of it.
Yeah, so I do have a couple of volunteers that work with volunteer services who are also volunteers for RSVP, which is Retired Senior Volunteer Corps with Karen Brugman. and that is an AmeriCorps program. Now, Senior Companions is also an AmeriCorps program, so it's Senior AmeriCorps. So I do envision that we'll work even more closely with RSVP and the RSVP program, because we both are funded with the Senior Companion money through AmeriCorps.
So you work with a lot of organizations right here in the community, which I think is great,
We
because
do.
there are a lot of services out there. But as you said, there's also a lot of gaps, and we're trying to fill in some of those gaps.
Yes,
And that's where the volunteers come in. And
exactly.
it all makes sense to me. But so again, if they need to reach out to you, the best way to contact you would be what?
Probably just call my desk line, which is 509-293-8365.
And your website?
You could go to the Catholic Charities main website. My email address is ldilman@catholiccharities.cw.org.
Okay. Well, Leah, I want to thank you for spending a few minutes with us today. I think that was very enlightening as to some of the programs that are ongoing, and we're trying to get off the ground during these difficult times. So
Yeah, thanks for having me, Dave.
thank you.